Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this session on BSc Honours Accounting and Finance. Firstly, introduce Amerdeep.
Good afternoon, all of you. My name is Amerdeep Jakhu. I'm a senior lecturer in accounting, and myself and Kulvinder is going to be doing a double act in terms of the presentation.
And my name is Kulvinder Singh. I'm an associate professor in accounting and the subject lead for the accounting area within the College of Accountancy, Finance and Economics. So what we're hoping to cover in today's webinar, today's talk, is to provide an overview detailing what opportunities the BSc Accounting and Finance course has to offer, also providing you with an overview of the structure and what you would expect to study, and sort of how the course links with the UK professional bodies, and how the course can potentially set you up and support you in a career in the accounting and finance subject area, as well as there being opportunity for any question and answers at the end. So studying at BCU. So in terms of the fundamental philosophy behind our accounting and finance course, it's designed to give you an insight into the world of accountancy practice and industry and finance. And the reason why we sort of say this is because our degree courses are quite vocational and they're quite experiential in nature. What we mean by that is they're not all theoretical based. We try and make our courses as practical as possible, and we allow you to get a hands-on insight into the world of accountancy practice, into the world of finance, and actually give you some real world experience through the use of our various different teaching approaches and techniques. The graduates who leave us, so once you've studied with us for 2 or 3 years, etc., what we aim to do is produce graduates who possess a global outlook, who are able to make an impact across various different fields. Although we've put accounting and finance on the slide, what we want is for all of our graduates to go out and make a positive impact on society. And that will be through the commercial world, but also through perhaps public sector, not-for-profit organizations. But we want you to be able to make a positive impact in the world in which you're going to graduate into. And that's not only from a professional point of view, but also a personal perspective as well. So we want to try and ensure that all our graduates are these well-rounded graduates, and we give you the opportunities whilst you're studying at BCU, whilst you're studying on the degree, to hopefully develop a wide range of skills whilst you're here. So the structure of the course. So it's a 3-year full-time course, or 4 years with a professional placement year. And we will just caveat sort of year 1 with a little asterisk to sort of say that successful completion of the BCU IC equivalent course will allow direct entry onto year 2 of the course. So you would do the equivalent modules at BCU IC, for example, on the equivalent accounting course. But just as an overview, in year 1, we sort of try and have our first year as a introductory year where we get students used to the areas of accounting and finance, making sure that everybody has a sufficient grounding in those areas. So you will study things like introduction to financial and management accounting, data intelligence, economics and finance. So we're basically laying the groundwork in that first year. So that first year is all about making sure that everybody's on an equal playing field, making sure that you've got the theoretical underpinning and the practical underpinning behind some of the key areas that you go on to study. Focusing more really on year 2, which is where a lot of the BCU IC students enter the accounting and finance course. We start off by providing flexibility, and I think one of the real positives about the course that we have is the element of flexibility and the fact that students get the opportunity to tailor and select various modules that will really support them and that are best suited to them in their academic journey. From an accounting perspective, we have various different accreditations, which we'll come to in a few slides' time. But the accreditations mean that you have to do various modules which have exams associated with them. So if you want to go down the accounting exemption route and trying to maximize the number of exemptions you can get, students would select the financial reporting and the management accounting modules. If, however, you feel as though your skill set is more suited to doing coursework or more written type of assessments or presentations, then you would do the integrated business accounting instead. So both of them will cover similar content and similar material. Some of the fundamental differences relate to how the modules are assessed. And I think the benefit of that is you will study similar types of content, but you have the choice as to how you're going to be assessed and how you want your sort of final route to look. It's a similar thing with the finance route. So you would either choose to do the accredited corporate finance module or the non-accredited entrepreneurial finance. And again, both fairly similar modules, although there will be differences in content on the finance modules, but one's accredited, one's not. So you can choose a sort of different combinations in your first semester. What normally happens is you are supported by a personal tutor who will talk to you about how you make those options and what you need to do. In the second semester, there's one core module that you need to do, which is International Accounting and Finance Issues. The module itself is designed to get students equipped to deal with research and sort of developing those academic research skills. So if you're looking to go on to do sort of a dissertation in your final year, or if you're looking to go on to do postgraduate study after completion of your undergraduate, this is where we're trying to develop those research skills that you're going to need to be successful in future research type modules. So what we're doing is supporting you from an early stage and giving you the skills and the knowledge and the attributes that you're going to need to be successful going forward. You've then got more options in that second semester. So optional modules, they relate to sort of various different areas that are associated with the accounting area. So you've got things like taxation, business technology, business operations. One of the more sort of up and coming areas, particularly within the UK, is Islamic finance. So we have a Principles of Islamic Finance module, which again introduces you to the fundamentals of that particular area. There is then a professional placement year in between sort of year 2 and year 3. For international students, we will just sort of caveat this by sort of saying the professional placement year will be subject to visa criteria and requirements. So you would just need to sort of check eligibility to go out on placement if you are an international student, for example. But that's an optional year-long placement where students go out to work for a year. And this will be at a placement which has been vetted by the university. We sort of check what their plan is. So you're not just going out and making cups of tea, for example. You're actually doing some work which will be valuable for your degree and for your own development. If you don't decide to go on to do the placement year, you can go directly into sort of year 3 after successful completion of your second year or year 2 of the course, level 5. And level 6 or year 3 of the course, this is where, again, you really start to specialize. So as a final year undergraduate, we would hope that you're at that stage where you're really starting to think about your next steps after graduation. You're really starting to think about your career in accountancy or finance or anywhere within those sectors. And what we try and do in that final year is to set you up for a career, a professional career, as I said at the start, within industry, within this global environment in which you're going to graduate into. So there's 2 core modules that you would have to do, one in each semester. So you have to do a core module around empowering future leaders. And that module, again, as the name suggests, is all about developing your leadership skills. So we appreciate that as graduates, you're going to be entering into hopefully middle management. You want to see a career which focuses on management level roles. So we want to start developing those leadership skills and attributes right from this stage, just so when you do go into the workplace, you are able to sort of have a positive impact. The other core module that you have to do is accounting for the planet. And this recognizes the impact that accounting is having on businesses from a sustainability perspective. So for those of you who sort of have looked into businesses and sort of that business environment at this stage, you'll probably recognize that sustainability is one of, if not the most important areas pertaining to business activity at this stage. And accountants will play a fundamental role in that. So within this module, we introduce you to things like sustainability reporting, corporate social responsibility, and you will get an appreciation of all matters relating to, or some of the fundamental matters relating to sustainability. So we're giving you sort of 2 core modules that will hopefully, like we sort of said, stand you in good stead in relation to sort of a future career in accounting and finance. But to complement those, then we've got a range again of optional modules. And these optional modules, you'll choose 2 options in semester 1, 2 options in semester 2. And again, you can start to tailor your degree around options that you feel are best suited to your career, best suited to your academic strengths. So if you want to go down the accounting or finance route and you want to try and maximize the exemptions that you're able to get from the professional bodies, you may decide to choose modules like audit and insurance, strategic management accounting, advanced financial reporting, corporate financial strategy. Those are all what we call exemption or accredited modules. So by completing those, they will sort of put you in a good position potentially in readiness for any professional qualification you go on to do. However, we also have a range of different other modules which aren't accredited but still relate to the tax and to the accounting and finance areas, which include tax, banking, again, follow up with some more Islamic banking options, not-for-profit organizations. The dissertation is an optional module, so you can opt to do a dissertation. And we have 2 modules that you would choose, so things like the business research methodology module or the business research project. And these are the dissertation type module where you would do an extended project with a supervisor. So hopefully that gives you some context around sort of the course design and the structure and the types of things you're going to study. The student experience and the employability sort of side of things is fundamental to our courses. We try and ensure that the student experience is at the heart of everything we do within our college, within our courses. So everything we do as a course team, everything we do as module teams is designed to make sure you get the best possible experience whilst you're here, as well as developing you and ensuring you get the best possible outcomes. And in terms of outcomes, one of those outcomes will be around employability, making sure you've got the skills and the knowledge that you're going to need to be able to take the steps after graduation, or again, set you up for postgraduate study if that's something that you want to explore. And just as a quick sort of example as to where our students go, and this is a very, very small snapshot as to some of the companies that our students have graduated and gone on to work for. You can sort of see you've got a couple of the big accounting firms. So you've got the likes of KPMG in there. So the big 4, we have students go to Deloitte, PwC, EY. But you can sort of see amongst the other sort of types of companies, they vary from all different sectors. And I think one of the things with an accounting and finance degree is no matter what industry you want to go into, they all need to have a finance department. So whether you go and work for a communication company like Sky, a vehicle manufacturer like Hyundai or Volkswagen or Porsche, the financial element of that business will be quite significant. They will all have finance departments. So there's always a need for people with that type of background. So that's where we try and sort of encourage our students to try and ensure that they're maximizing their potential and they're able to go and make an impact into various different industries. But as we mentioned, in terms of enhancing your employability skills, the way we do that is by embedding that within our courses. So we will prepare you for a career in accountancy, finance, management, business, etc., by relating your studies and by employing a practice-based approach. So as I mentioned at the very start, it's not all theory-based. You will be doing more practical type environment activities. You will be engaging with industry. So we have regular visits from professional bodies. So you can sort of see the likes of ICAEW, SEMA, ACCA. They all come in, they work closely with us. We are accredited by various different professional bodies, which indicates the way in which we teach, and the content on which we teach aligns with what they do on their professional courses. But we also give you the opportunity to obtain additional skills and qualifications that will give you an edge in that employment market. So you could get things like a SAGE certificate, potentially. You will do things like zero qualifications at the moment. That's part of the course. We also have different external certifications that you can engage with. So there's various different other activities that we encourage our students to get involved in as part of the whole university experience. So it's not just about coming to class, doing what you need to do, submitting your assessments and leaving. What we're aiming for you guys to do is to engage in all areas of the university experience. You'll have a personal tutor, etc., who we'll talk about in a bit, but we sort of encourage all of our students to get involved in as much as possible whilst they're here.
Okay, great. Hi, folks. And our approach to teaching and course design is very, very flexible and also up to date. So the curriculum is up to date and is reviewed on a regular basis to ensure that you get an excellent experience and also that you are ready for professional qualifications ultimately after your undergraduate course. It's practice-based learning utilizing seminars and workshops. And again, as Kuli mentioned, smaller qualifications such as SAGE is also instilled in the program, integrated as you're going through. Also, what it does do, the undergraduate course, this accounting and finance degree course, reflects on the digital world in which we work in, especially with the advent of AI, as you're probably aware. And that's going to be more important as we go along. The actual undergraduate course, the degree, is taught by subject experts, which are academics in their field, but also you will find that they have industrial experience as well, which they can relate to and apply in the classroom. On top of the academic course and the subject knowledge which you'll learn, one of the things which will be instilled and integrated onto the program will be the element of soft skills, which are increasingly important in a professional environment, which also will be looked at and also instilled into yourselves as you go into the worker world. How you will be, in this case, how you will be taught again, as mentioned, there will be formal lectures. Again, smaller groups whereby you'll be going into working in seminars and workshops, whereby they'll be focusing on your skills and practicing elements of the actual course and topics. Again, there will be computer labs which you'll attend, and again, whereby you'll be undertaking such as courses such as SAGE, etc. There will be asynchronous material will be provided, and also in this case, virtual pre-recorded learning will be integrated into your course, whereby you can go back and look at what occurred in your lectures, so you can actually spend your time in your own pace, actually consuming and digesting the information which was given. And also one of the good things about the BCU here is that you will be taught and you'll be within a state-of-the-art building whereby you can actually experience a very good element of teaching and experience a very state-of-the-art environment when you're actually in the university here. The assessment methods, you'll be subject to various types of assessment methods when you are undertaking this accounting and finance degree, which will include group projects, presentations, multiple choice tests, essays and reports, and obviously closed book and written exams throughout your duration of the course. And again, as you can see here, you will have traditional assessment methods, but also what we will be looking at also is about developing your soft skills as you're moving along the first, second, third year, especially second and third year. In terms of the accounting progression, again, this was mentioned earlier by my colleague, the vast majority of accountants are members of a professional accounting body. This requires you or yourself to pass the professional exams for that body once you have graduated, and also have practical work experience, usually 3 years, in order to be fully qualified as a professional accountant at the end of the day. Again, as an aside, accounting degree gives an opportunity to gain exemptions from all the major accounting bodies. This means that you will have less professional exams to take once you've graduated. And that's the beauty of this accounting and finance degree. So if you actually do well and you succeed, you will have fewer professional exams to undertake when you are undertaking professional exams later on in your professional life. Again, professional accreditations to give you an oversight in terms of what they are. You've got the ACCA, course accredited by a major accountancy body, including the Association of Chartered Certificate Accountants. And you've got the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, and you've got the Institute for Chartered Accountants in England and Wales, ICA-EW. All professional bodies require you to complete exams after graduation to gain membership, as I just mentioned in the previous slide. And again, to reinforce the message, our degrees provide an opportunity to gain significant exemptions from professional exams, and that will be emphasized once you start in your second and third year in terms of exemptions and what you need to do as you are progressing through your degree. Again, which is very, very important about where will you be in the next 4 or 5 years in terms of your career prospects. Many of our students find accounting and finance related roles in large Big Four firms as well as small accountancy practices. And again, as Kulvinder mentioned, you got KPMG, Ernst Young, etc. in terms of the Big Four. And also, as Kuli mentioned, you've got major companies which have finance departments whereby they have a finance department whereby accountants play a pivotal role. Again, others, like as I said, others choose to work as management accountants or other accounting-related roles in industry, such as trainee accountants, graduate tax associates, finance analysts, going through here, auditors, data analysts, e-commerce accountants, assurance associates, management accountants. So quite a list of where you can specialize at the end of your professional training when it comes down to it. In terms of international focus, considering we're pitching this to international students, there could be opportunities subject to visa regulations and criteria of looking at programs. Our programs have an international focus, and also there may be opportunities, as I mentioned to you earlier, subject to visa regulations criteria for international travel opportunities. And the university offers a number of opportunities for students to travel overseas for study or work placements. So our previous students have enjoyed some amazing experiences in some fascinating locations around the globe, including Mexico, Ghana, Vietnam, China, and Uganda. So something to whet your appetite in terms of gaining a vast array of experience. And we have a variety of international study trips and field trips for students who get involved with. So again, there will be an International Tax Week, which will be in your calendar, which you can explore as you're going along. One of the most important aspects will be that you will be given comprehensive pastoral support and any other support which is required. And as international students, and I think that's quite important, my experience at the university has been working very closely academically and pastorally with international students. So, and I know that our pastoral tutor system at the university here is second to none. It's aspirational, it's very empathetic, and also it's designed to make sure that you succeed academically. You also will be accessible, you have access to a module tutor, that's your academic tutor, if you've got any questions or queries. And in my experience here, all the tutors have an open door policy. You can make an appointment with them and they're very, very accessible. There'll be Connect mentors in terms of careers, student success advisors. There's a business school office, which is our local admin office. There's a Graduate Plus and a Careers Plus facilities, and whereby you can actually seek advice about looking at your future prospects in terms of the profession. Okay, and coming to the end of the presentation here, and I know that if there are any questions, we are willing to answer while we're here.